Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain, where I'm about to dive into a book that I have only completed an excerpt for. Now this book does release December 6th of 2024. I am going to release this episode I think I've got it scheduled for sometime around the 1st or 3rd of December. So you should be hearing this particular episode sometime around that, but we are talking about Wind and Truth, number 5 of the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. I do want to give a huge shout out and thank you to NetGalley for providing me both an ebook as well as an advanced audio copy of the ebook was approximately 400 pages. The audiobook that I received was approximately 15 hours. Now, that is only an excerpt of the main text. This book will be massive when it releases, and currently on Goodreads it has 4.7 stars even before its release. I imagine that when it releases it is going to maintain that rating. I give it a full 5 stars only from what I've heard so far because I have loved what I've heard so far. I will dive into the summary, but according to Goodreads, again, I only had the first 400 pages. The hardcover edition, releasing from Tor Books, will have approximately 1,344 pages. I did already pre-order my audiobook version. My audio excerpt from NetGalley was approximately 15 hours. The one that I'm going to receive on Audible when it releases on December 6th will be approximately 62 or 68 hours long. So what I received is about a fourth of the book. I am so very excited because one of the things is I don't think I can fully spoil it for you. Even if I told you all the things that are happening in this particular excerpt, which I cannot do anyway because it's 15 hours long, it's 400 pages. Even if I were able to, this would be an hours long review. And I'm not going to spoil that. But the thing is I don't actually have enough of it to spoil where this book is going to go, how much of the story we're going to get. But these books just get longer and more in-depth with the story. And as an avid reader of the Stormlight Archive, I never feel like it is as long or as detailed as it really is. So let us dive into the summary really quick, and then we'll kind of go into my thoughts, I suppose. This may be a slightly longer episode. I'm just thinking right now, as I'm kind of playing with it in my brain, it may be about a 20-minute episode. I'm just going to try to keep it still, like I aim for these to be about 15 minutes usually, but this one may be 20 minutes, give or take. There are a lot of characters, and I do want to kind of touch on most of them tenuously. I'm not going to talk about every single one of them because if you've ever dived into the Stormlight Archives, you will realize that the cast of characters is substantial, and we just don't really have time for all of that either. We do not have time to go through like a checklist of like everybody, but we will do our best. Dalinar Kholin challenged the evil god Odium to a contest of champions with the future of Roshar on the line. The Knights Radiant have only 10 days to prepare, and the sudden ascension of the crafty and ruthless Taravangian to take Odium's place has thrown everything into disarray. Desperate fighting continues simultaneously worldwide. Adolin in Azamir, Sigzil and Vinley at the Shattered Plains, and Yasna at Thaylen City. The former assassin Zeth must cleanse his homeland of Shinovar from the dark influence of the Unmade. He is accompanied by Kaladin, who faces a new battle, helping Zeth fight his own demons. And who must do the same for the insane herald of the almighty Ishtar. At the same time, Shallan, Renarin, and Relaine work to unravel the mystery behind the unmade Ba-Edo Mishram and her involvement in the enslavement of the Singer race and in the ancient Night Radiants killing their Spren. And Dalinar and Navani seek an edge against Odium's champion that can only be found in the spiritual realm, where memory and possibility combine in chaos. The fate of the entire Cosmere hang in the balance. Now, this is one of those books that I absolutely believe is high fantasy. If you are not a fan of high fantasy, this will be cumbersome for you. There are some fantasy books you can pick up outside of their series order. This is not one of them. I would really strongly recommend to not pick up book 5 out of order from the Stormlight series. I do not think you will have enough information because they are so incredibly information dense. You need to know where each of these characters has come from, the growth that each character has gone through, the trials, obstacles they've faced in order to know what has brought them to this point right now. And some of them have almost had some redemption arcs and are almost going through a dip of maybe a question in faith again, and are gonna need yet another redemption arc at some point, because it feels as though a redemption arc may come back down into a dip before it goes back up again. That is not to say that is a character flaw, but I do not think it is going to be a linear journey for a lot of these characters. So let's start with Kaladin, because Kaladin is one of those characters that it's just so easy to start with. He is a fan favorite. He is literally probably the underdog in most people's minds. If you've picked up the other series, you will know what I'm talking about. But he has come such a long way from being a soldier, being a fighter, being a leader, to being a slave, to working his way back up, being a Night Radiant. And if you read book 4, you realize that, and then now reaching into book 5, he has been asked to step down from the Knights Radiant due to his, pretty much his mental trauma. He has not been able to really deal with some of the traumas he has faced in his life. And so one of the things that Dalinar asks of him is to step away from the front line. He is freezing in battle, and his freezing in battle is putting others' lives in jeopardy, because when he freezes, and other people are relying on him to have their back, he is now putting their lives in jeopardy. He is now feeling like, okay, he is being pushed aside again. He is being thrown away again. Again, all of those traumas he's felt before are coming to a head. And even though he's had growth, he has not had the ability to deal with his traumas in a very healthy way. And so as we come into book 5, we are now seeing that Kaladin is almost becoming a therapist. Now, we had seen that he had learned surgery, like body surgery, healing of the body from his father. But he is now becoming a healer of the mind, like a therapist, for other soldiers. And by doing this act, he is actually being able to help himself in a lot of ways. He is seeing that he is not alone in the things that he's going through. And even though he fully doesn't have someone else, like he doesn't have a therapist that he can talk to, really, by being able to be there for these other people and kind of work with them through their traumas, he is then able to address more of his own traumas. I know that I do work with a therapist every other week. I love her. She is phenomenal. And I have, for the past several years, worked with therapists who are just absolutely wonderful people. I think it is a great thing to do if that is something that you feel would benefit you. If you don't think it would, I still wish you would give it a try just to see. It is really nice to have someone who not only will call you on your bullshit, like your mental things, like when you think a certain way for so long and no one is in your head kind of asking you why you think those ways, then you always think they're kind of the correct ways. So you never really go through those kind of cognitive behavior therapy processes in order to think in different ways. And I think that by Kaladin being able to work with other people, he is then able to help himself. And so now he has been sent on this journey with Zeth, who is very much in need of trauma therapy, because Zeth, again, does not think he needs therapy. Zeth is like, nope, I'm totally fine, even though he absolutely 100% is probably the epitome of someone who needs a therapist. And so that's why Kaladin's there. Now, he's also there to go to Shinovar and work with a herald named Ishtar. And this herald is thought to be insane. So we will leave it at that for now with Kaladin, and we will switch over to Shallan, who, when we kind of work with her and when we see her a little bit, we do see that they have been over in the what is that realm with all the beads and stuff. She's kind of like in the I don't want to call it like the shadow realm, but it is kind of like the Spren realm, so to speak. And she goes over there, they get attacked, she comes back, but now she's got to defend, she's got to face the Ghost Bloods. Like, that's one of the things that happens in this first 400 pages, is Shallan was pretty quickly recruited by the Ghost Bloods when she was younger and a little bit more immature. And now she's realizing that she's in pretty deep over her head with regards to the Ghost Bloods, that she's not able to leverage that relationship in the same way I guess she thought she was going to be able to. They are very powerful. They are ingrained pretty deeply, and she's not as good of a spy as she thought she was going to be. Now, yes, she does still have her what you could call split personalities or multiple personalities of Radiant and Veil, but they are only slightly more enhanced versions of Shallan herself. Radiant is a bit more confident and maybe a bit more powerful in her stature. Veil is a bit more sneaky, more of the rogue-like personality, but again, only knows certain levels of roguish mannerisms and is not actually trained as a rogue, a thief, a spy. So infiltrating the Ghost Bloods, she does have some skill, but she's still not a professional the way they are. So she does infiltrate a meeting using her illusion magic, and it does go decently well. However, we do see a couple things happen that I'm not going to spoil because they were pretty cool. And so let's just say Shallan is working on that, at least in these first 400 pages. She does have a couple things to overcome. She does gain her armor. And I'm just trying to remember, because I was listening to book 4 when I had to switch over because I got Words of Radiance, which is book 5. I'm just trying to remember, did that happen in book 4 or book 5? But anyway, she got her radiant armor, and it was really cool. So she's very excited, and the armor like talks to her and gets so excited. And that's a little disconcerting, but it's kind of fun too. Yasna is now kind of the queen, the empress, so to speak, and Hoyd is her right hand. Hoyd/Wit is her right hand. Wit is no longer like the court jester, so to speak. He is more like her companion in a lot of different ways, and in a way that's good and bad. One, Wit has a lot of knowledge. He has a lot of information. The thing is he is not very forthright with this information. As anybody who's been anywhere in the Cosmere will tell you, when you encounter Wit, he almost speaks in riddles. And I don't know if he does this on purpose or after all of these encounters, you may just... I have kind of wondered if maybe it's... I don't want to say it's a personality trait. If it's not something he can control. Like, I don't think he can purposefully tell direct information to people. I think that's why he has to be so roundabout with the way he delivers information. And so there are ways he can and ways he can't do things. And so one of the things that Wit realizes, or Hoyd, depending on what you refer to him as, it is the same person. Wit, Hoyd, same person. He realizes pretty quickly on that the kind of this Contest of Champions contract does have a loophole that Odium can use, and it does work in Odium's favor. So that's one of the things that they now have to contend with as they are working through these 10 days towards trying to do this battle, this Contest of Champions, working up towards it. They are both trying to, I guess, stack their pieces in such a way that they will be ready for it. However, they do realize, Hoyd, and he informs Dalinar and Navani and Yasna that I'm so stupid, but that's what he says, is I'm so stupid, but I just realized, and he goes and reads the contract again, that yes, there is a loophole, and yes, it does favor Odium, and if they do X or Y, then they will probably be the winner of this contest, no matter what happens, pretty much. So now, that's where we come over to Dalinar and Navani. So Dalinar has realized that one of the few ways that he can really make this contest fair is to try to enter into the spiritual realm and to try to see what has happened in the past in order to learn and gain some information that he does not currently have, which will help him in this Contest of Champions. And now, in books 4, Navani has awakened the sibling, which is pretty much the tower that they've been living in. And so they have food, they have warmth, they have all of that. Navani decides she's going to go with them. So she is also a kind of like a conduit of one of the major Spren, where Dalinar has the Stormfather, Navani has the sibling, and that's what it's referred to as. So Navani is also considered one of these very higher up kind of Spren counterparts, one of these sort of companions, so to speak. And so Dalinar and Navani decide that, okay, Dalinar needs to go into the spirit realm in order to have the knowledge that he's going to need to prepare for this Contest of Champions. Well, Navani is not going to let him go alone. And so now they have to prepare to go and do that. And it does seem like it's going to be a bit of a... they have to watch their timing because time may not go the same way, so they don't want to stay there in there too long. They don't want to get lost in there, so to speak. But a couple of the Ghostbloods are trying to infiltrate and get in there with them in order to sabotage this this excursion, this adventure. And then we kind of have to go over to Renarin real quick, who is working with Relaine on some things. And so Renarin is still got a corrupted Spren. We're still working on that. And just trying to think real quick. I don't want to spoil some stuff. I was going to mention a few things, but I think I want to leave that alone and let you kind of read that yourselves. It's really cute. So I am going to leave that. Adolin is kind of, he's really trying to be like the man his father raised him to be, which is noble and honorable. But there are some things like Adolin, like after Adolin did kill one of the High Lords, and again, go read it if you haven't read it. I'm gonna just try to like leave it there. Adolin has had kind of a little bit of questioning of his own faith and a little bit of his own like person, like can he be the person his father wants him to be? And really the answer is no, he can't be the person his father wants him to be. However, he knows he can be a really good man, and right now him and Shallan are married, and so they're a good couple. They're a really great couple, and they are working towards being open and honest with their communication. But Adolin is still working on a few of his own kind of growing things. Like he is trying to grow as a person, and I'm super hopeful. I'm super hopeful of a lot of things for Adolin, so crossing fingers there. Now, I'm trying to think of who else. I may just leave it there for now because we are right now hitting at about 21 minutes. So yeah, we'll probably just leave it there because again, that's a lot for just me trying to tap just a little bit on what everybody's kind of doing. And that's, like I said, just a very quick little rundown because everybody is really doing a lot. I hope you guys are as excited about the rest of the book as I am. I have the audiobook that's supposed to pretty much auto-download when it releases on December 6th. And then I have already ordered my hardback copy as well, so that should be coming. And yeah, so I look forward to, once I actually finish the full book, providing an updated Wind and Truth full-length review as well. So this is just the excerpt review because again, I did get this from NetGalley. I do want to thank them for this, and I love it. I love Brandon Sanderson. I will encourage anybody who loves high fantasy, who maybe has read the Wheel of Time series, who loves to be able to dive into a world that's rich with lore and maps and knowledge and cultures and all of that. This has it. Brandon Sanderson has worked so diligently on making this an entire universe and world in itself. And if that is something that sounds like you would be interested in, please go out and find it because I definitely think it's worth a read. But it's not for everyone because not everyone wants this dense of a read. And that is totally fine. So, with all of that being said, thank you so much. I hope you'll like and subscribe. I hope you'll stick around or come back in the future. And I'll see you on the next page. I hope you have a great one. Bye.